For our Group 4 project, our team tried to find the best procedure to make lemon drizzle tray bake. Specifically, we looked at how to maximize fluffiness while keeping it reasonably healthy and using environmentally friendly ingredients. To this end, we combined various aspects of biology, chemistry, and physics. In particular, we looked at several processes and their effects on texture and taste. Some of these processes are gluten levels and how they affect moisture, caramelization and the sugar reactions that occur in air pockets, and making sure that the evaporation didn't dry out the cake. During planning, the group came up with several ideas on how to achieve this. In terms of ingredients, we decided to use cake flour instead of all-purpose flour, which would help with fluffiness. We used butter rather than margarine for better moistness, vegetable-based oil to control gluten levels and avoid stickiness, and buttermilk, as the fat helps to avoid the starch and keeps the cake moist. We also used organic lemons, which are not grown with chemicals and are more environmentally friendly. During the baking, we whisked the dry ingredients and then sifted it to get the flour to spread evenly in the butter and avoid clumps in the cake. We also allowed the batter to get as much air as possible to keep it fluffy and light. Furthermore, the butter was mixed at room temperature with the sugar, as it loosens the butter and creates air pockets. The egg whites were also beaten separately. The eggs are emulsifiers, which helps with breaking up the fats and oils in the butter. The eggs are also then added separately. We also had to take care not to overmix the batter. We had to be careful not to bake it for too long to prevent it from drying out. Once it was baked, we poked holes with a fork and then poured syrup over the top of the cake for added moisture. Prior to storage, we had to allow the cake to completely cool and then properly seal it so that it wouldn't dry out later. Baking was done in 3 sessions in which we tested out different variables. Temperature was kept constant in all 3 sessions. In the first session, we varied the type of milk used. We tried 1.5% fat, 3.5% fat, and 1% buttermilk. From this session, we concluded that for maximum fluffiness and the best cohesion, the 3.5% fat milk was the best. For the best moistness and bounciness, the buttermilk was better. In the second session, we used the 3.5% fat milk from before, and this time we varied the type of oil used. For the vegetable oil, we used rapeseed oil, and we also tried out coconut oil. Thirdly, we also tested out a more unusual choice, maple syrup. In the end, we found that rapeseed oil has the best texture and moistness, and that maple syrup and the coconut oil give a weird aftertaste, but the maple syrup is better overall. From this session, we were able to conclude that the cornstarch we'd been using earlier didn't work very well. In the third session, the baking was repeated to verify our findings and give an added degree of accuracy. Although we weren't testing for a variable in particular, we did make the discovery that covering with foil is better than covering with a towel once we're cooling it, as it gives better moisture. So overall, we found that the best milk to use would be either 3.5% fat milk or 1% buttermilk. We also found that it's best to use vegetable oil, such as rapeseed oil, which has a good balance of omega-3 and omega-6, making it healthy, and also ideal for preventing heart disease. Although it is worth noting that rapeseed oil is controversial and has been genetically modified, which may be a deal breaker for some. We also determined that cornstarch should not be used in the process, nor should maple syrup unless you're feeling a bit adventurous. During the baking, special care must be taken to ensure that the cake does not dry out and that air pockets are given a chance to properly form. Overall, we found that this combination of procedure and ingredients gives the best texture, which is both rich, fluffy, and moist.